there's always the potential for our old habits and our old conditioning to show up. And something that I've been thinking a lot about in the last 6 months or so, because of some, personal experiences that have happened in my life, is that sometimes when things feel really familiar and comfortable, and you sense in yourself this a little bit of an obsession. It's not like an intense obsession, but like a almost like a magnet, almost like you're a magnet to that thing and you just want to go towards it, and that's so strong, and you start to really think about it and spin on it, and you just try to pursue it. And when I say thing, it's not just inanimate objects, but like people, social circles, different types of groups, different types of programs, opportunities, relationships, places, like anything where you feel an immediate pull and it's sort of distracting because it's familiar and comfortable, and it's hard to describe, but those are the things that I think you really have to pause and think about and consider what you're moving towards. Now, the reason this is hard is because you have to be able to distinguish between unhealthy attraction, healthy attraction, and you just really have to be able to distinguish between those two things. And it can be hard because we can get an instinct or an intuition that something would be good for us, and then we want to move towards that thing. At the same time, we could get something can trigger our interests based on old conditioning and also pull us towards it. So how do we distinguish between these two? Before I get into that how, I want to sort of explain to you the experiences that have led me to sort of this conclusion and trying to articulate this dynamic in the healing process. Now, one is that over the last, let's say 9 months, I found myself attracted to and involved with a group of people, where in the group of people felt very familiar, very comfortable, and friendships settled in very quickly, and there was lots of time spent together, and it almost felt familial, like just so familiar. And it progressed in a way that was not dramatic or anything for a long time until the drama showed up. And it's crazy because I kind of sensed along the way that something was going to happen, like not super consciously, but there was a part of me that was worried that something was going to happen, or that it wasn't quite the healthiest dynamic for me. And lo and behold, that sort of underlying concern was proven right several months down the road. And what that brought up for me is like, I'm still, despite being a decade in to healing and personal development, I still sometimes find myself in these situations with, personalities that mirror personalities that negatively impacted my past. Okay. So that's one thing. And now I'm in after this learning and, gathering these insights, I am now becoming involved in a new group. It's a program, and there's a level of sort of disinterest and boredom that I have associated with this new program, with this new group of people. Now, it's not just a social group, it's an organized group, but it's, the same people that show up all the time. And it's a great thing. It's all positive, but my involvement in it, I'm kind of not that interested. Like, there's not that burning, like, I don't want to say obsession, but burning interest where I'm like really distracted by it, thinking about it all the time. It's kind of just like, okay, it's there. It's something we attend and it's good and fine. Sometimes I'm a little bit bored with it, but I'm able to sort of consciously assess situations and interact with people. And it just feels, more of a calm and non-threatening situation. And I think that there is something in the disinterest and the boredom, which sounds really strange. I understand, but stick with me here. Sometimes the things that don't necessarily interest us right away, but we can sort of separate that disinterest from, this feels cognitively, this feels like the right approach, this feels like the right direction. That's also something to pay attention to, because when something doesn't match or feel familiar to us, doesn't match our conditioning, doesn't match old past circumstances that made that impacted us in a negative way, right? That they maybe don't match potentially abusive personalities or dysfunctional circumstances. There's a part of us that will still seek the drama associated with that old stuff. And when you come across a new situation where your body and your sort of intuition is sensing that dysfunction and that abuse and that like negative drama isn't going to be present here, that's going to feel unfamiliar and maybe a little bit boring because we're used to the drama. Okay. So it's difficult because instinct is really important. There's a skill, reading your instinct and listening to your instinct and understanding what it means, like the connection between instinct, emotion, and, cognitive thoughts. It's something that we learn how to decipher, and, we can, and sometimes it's hard to even figure it out. And I like to take out a pencil and a piece of paper and just start writing, or in my journal or on these videos like this, and start to kind of talk through it to say, okay, what's going on here? And what I'm realizing is that sometimes the stuff that I can cognitively say feels like it's going to be good for me, but it's like a little bit boring and I'm not really sure, and all right, I'll do it. Trying out those kinds of situations and learning about yourself in the context of that kind of situation, I think is a healthy thing. I'm not telling you to only go towards things that are boring and don't feel interesting to you. Obviously, you need to go. I think you will know the difference, or you have to decipher between things that you feel a little bit like obsessed with or distracted by, and you start to spin on it, versus actual passions and things that you're interested in and things you want to learn more about, right? And then the stuff that is, maybe a little bit just different and outside your comfort zone and not necessarily sparking the part of you that is used to drama and chaos, So those are that's just sort of stream of consciousness right there on how we sort of can decipher between situations that are good for us and situations that are not. Situations that feed into our familiarity with the past versus situations that are very different and might actually come across as boring or uninteresting to us. It's just something to think about. Our perception of the world changes so much as we heal and grow. But those old parts of us, the conditioning and the habits and the way we see things, the way we see ourselves, they're stored inside of us like memories in a way, right? And they can still creep in and throw us for a loop. So you kind of just have to be aware of it. But anyway, those are my thoughts for today. I'd love to know what you guys think. So leave me a comment below. If this makes any sense at all, leave me a comment below. Let me know your thoughts. Let me know if you have any questions. And if you're new here, definitely don't forget to subscribe, hit that like button, and I will catch you in tomorrow's vlog. Thanks so much.